Your body is built from atoms forged in stars that died long ago. We are walking archives of cosmic history, with our very DNA encoding the story of ancient stellar explosions. This connection makes the vast narrative of the universe deeply personal, transforming cosmology from a distant science into the story of our own origin. What if you could trace your lineage not to your ancestors, but to the stars themselves? By the end of this journey, you will understand 35 specific, wondrous ways your genetic code is physically made of stardust. We will uncover how the iron in your blood and the calcium in your bones are relics of supernova, and explore the profound mystery of how stellar ash found its way into the blueprint of life itself. What does it mean to be literally made of the cosmos? The crimson color of blood is a direct result of the iron within it. Picture a paramedic drawing a vial, that red liquid representing life itself, but its most crucial ingredient has the most violent of origins. Deep inside your body, at the heart of each red blood cell, molecules of hemoglobin rely on iron atoms to capture oxygen from your lungs. Every single one of those iron atoms was forged in the heart of a dying star. This is not poetic metaphor, but established scientific fact. During the final, cataclysmic moments of a massive star's life, in the unimaginable fury of a supernova, the very elements of life are born. An astrophysicist would explain this process as nucleosynthesis, where the extreme pressures and temperatures force lighter atoms to fuse together, building new, heavier elements. Stars are cosmic forges, but they can only create elements up to a certain point. It takes the staggering energy of a supernova explosion, a star tearing itself apart, to manufacture iron and everything heavier. In that final brilliant flash, the star scatters its newly forged guts across the void. This stellar debris, rich with iron, becomes the raw material for new stars, new planets, and eventually for us. Every breath you take, every beat of your heart, is powered by oxygen carried on the back of atoms created in a cosmic cataclysm billions of years ago. Consider that the iron from just one supernova event can be spread across light years, seeding countless future solar systems with the potential for life. So the next time you feel your pulse, that steady rhythm of life, pause for a moment. Can you sense the faint, ancient echo of that stellar detonation? A testament to the fact that your very existence is written in the elements of an exploded star. A scientist gazes at an intricate model of the double helix, its elegant curves held together by a chain of atoms. That entire structure, the very framework of life's blueprint, is built upon the unique chemistry of a single element. Carbon atoms form the resilient backbone of every DNA strand, and every one of those atoms is a gift from a star. Carbon is the fundamental element of organic chemistry, the very definition of life as we know it. Inside stars like our own sun, a remarkable process called the triple alpha process unfolds. In the stellar core's immense heat and pressure, 3 helium nuclei fuse together to create a single, stable carbon atom. This is not a rare event. It is the life's work of medium-mass stars which spend billions of years patiently fusing hydrogen into helium, and then helium into carbon. As the renowned biochemist Albert Szent-Györgyi noted, life is nothing but an electron looking for a place to rest, and carbon provides the most versatile and stable home for that electron. Its unique ability to form 4 strong bonds allows it to create the long, complex chains and rings that form proteins, sugars, and the very nucleotides of our genetic code. The proof is written in the atoms themselves. The specific isotopic ratio of carbon in our bodies, the precise amounts of stable carbon-12 and carbon-13 matches the distinctive signature produced by stellar nucleosynthesis. Even the radioactive carbon-14 used in dating ancient artifacts is created when cosmic rays interact with our atmosphere, but its stable siblings originated solely in stars. So when you think of your own DNA, consider that its fundamental architecture, the carbon in every rung of its twisting ladder, was assembled in the nuclear furnace of a sun that died long before our own solar system was even a cloud of dust. This cosmic carbon provides the structure, but it takes another, even rarer stellar element to act as the glue that holds our genetic code together. That cosmic carbon provides the structure, but the blueprint of life needs a spine to hold it all together. Your DNA's famous double helix doesn't float freely. Its rungs are held in place by a strong, twisting backbone made of sugar and phosphate. Every single one of those phosphate groups contains an atom of phosphorus, and the journey of that atom is even more dramatic than that of iron or carbon. Think of the last time you felt a sudden surge of energy, perhaps when you needed to sprint for a bus. That burst of power was fueled by a molecule in your cells called ATP, adenosine triphosphate. ATP is the universal energy currency of all life on Earth, and right at its heart, holding its high-energy bonds, are phosphate groups. The phosphorus within them is a cosmic rarity. While common on Earth, phosphorus is relatively scarce across the universe, and for life to exist, it needs a reliable source of this crucial element. This is known in astrobiology as the phosphorus problem. Where did all this essential phosphorus come from? The answer lies once again in the death of stars. Inside the most massive stars during their final, violent stages, a process called silicon burning occurs. In a furious sequence of nuclear reactions, silicon atoms fuse, eventually creating new, heavier elements, including phosphorus. This newly forged phosphorus is then violently ejected into the interstellar medium by the ensuing supernova explosion. We have observational proof of this. Spectroscopic studies of supernova remnants reveal distinct chemical signatures, showing them to be unexpectedly enriched with phosphorus. Without these specific stellar explosions seeding the cosmos with this vital element, the very molecules that manage energy and store genetic information might never have assembled. So the next time you feel a rush of adrenaline or simply the steady hum of your own metabolism, ask yourself a question. Are you merely feeling tired, or are you sensing the ancient, stored power of a stellar cataclysm, a force that forged the very energy currency of life itself? This energy directs our attention to the solid foundation of our bodies, the calcium that builds our bones. That simple act, a child drinking milk for strong bones, holds a secret written in the elements. The calcium that builds a sturdy skeleton and allows your nerves to fire signals is another direct inheritance from the stars. An astronomer studying stellar evolution would explain that deep within the most massive stars, a powerful sequence of fusion reactions is underway. After a star has fused its hydrogen into helium and then helium into carbon, the core continues to contract and heat up. This triggers the fusion of carbon into even heavier elements. In a critical step, oxygen atoms begin to fuse with helium nuclei in a process known as the alpha process. This specific nuclear reaction is a stellar production line for calcium, creating its most stable and common form, calcium-40. This isotope is not only the dominant type of calcium in the universe, it is the very same calcium that comprises your bones and teeth. When that massive star can no longer support its own weight, it collapses and explodes in a supernova, scattering this newly forged calcium across vast regions of space. We can see this process frozen in time. The beautiful filamentary crab nebula, the expanding remnant of a supernova witnessed on Earth in the year 1054, is remarkably rich in calcium. The very framework that gives your body its structure, the mineral strength that allows you to stand and move through the world, was cast in the furnace of a star that no longer exists. Every step you take is supported by the ancient, solidified ash of a cosmic explosion. This sturdy foundation, however, is useless without the constant, life-giving element that fuels every one of those steps, the oxygen in the air you breathe. A deep breath feels like the most natural act, yet the oxygen filling your lungs carries a story of cosmic violence. Every molecule of the air that sustains you was forged in the heart of a star far more massive than our own sun. Oxygen is the third most abundant element in the entire universe, and its creation is tied directly to the life cycle of giant stars. A nuclear physicist would describe the precise moment inside a star's core, after it has fused hydrogen into helium and helium into carbon. The star then enters a critical phase called carbon burning, where carbon atoms themselves begin to fuse. In a furious dance of atomic nuclei, carbon fuses with helium to create new, heavier elements, and the primary product of this specific reaction is oxygen. This oxygen remains trapped inside the star until its final, cataclysmic supernova death, which blasts these newly forged elements out into the galaxy. Our own sun, for all its power, is not massive enough to create significant amounts of oxygen through this process. The oxygen that fills our atmosphere, dissolves in our oceans, and is carried by our blood was a gift, an inheritance from earlier generations of massive stars that lived and died violently. So the next time you take a deep, calming breath, pause to consider its origin. Are you inhaling the legacy of a giant star's life and death? This very air, this life-sustaining element, is the same cosmic force that delivered another vital component of your being, the nitrogen woven directly into the code of your DNA. The 4 letters of your genetic code, A, T, C, and G, are more than just an alphabet. 2 of them, adenine and guanine, are built around rings of nitrogen. This element is the silent architect of heredity, woven into the very fabric of your genes. As the molecular biologist Phoebe Cohen has noted, nitrogen's unique chemistry is fundamental to the structure of the purine and pyrimidine bases that form the rungs of the DNA ladder. Without it, the code of life could not hold its shape or store its vast library of information. But where did this essential nitrogen come from? Its origin story is written in the hearts of stars. Inside main sequence stars like our Sun, a process called the CNO cycle fuses hydrogen into helium, using carbon, nitrogen, and oxygen as nuclear catalysts. This cycle actually produces nitrogen as an intermediate step, but it is largely locked inside the star. For nitrogen to become widely available for planets and life, it needs a more violent delivery system. That is where supernova come in. The colossal explosions of massive stars not only create new elements through intense nucleosynthesis, they also blast open stellar interiors, releasing the nitrogen forged within and scattering it across the galaxy. This cosmic contribution is so significant that supernova are considered a primary source of the galactic nitrogen budget. The nitrogen atoms currently forming the blueprint of your body were part of that ancient, scattered stardust. They drifted for eons in an interstellar cloud that, under its own gravity, eventually collapsed to form our Sun and all the planets. We have tangible proof of this journey. Scientists analyzing meteorites, the rocky leftovers from our solar system's birth, consistently find them enriched with nitrogen-based compounds. These space rocks are literal time capsules, preserving the chemical ingredients that were present when Earth and life itself began. So when you think about the traits you inherited from your parents or the genes you will pass on, consider this profound twist. Your heredity is written with ink forged in the stars. The nitrogen in your DNA is a cosmic heirloom, a direct material link to an ancient supernova. This elemental thread in our genetic tapestry leads us to another vital stellar gift, the sulfur that gives structure to the very proteins that bring your DNA to life. The precise shape of a protein determines its function, a delicate architecture often held together by a hidden atomic bridge. These are disulfide bonds, strong chemical links formed by the element sulfur, and they act like miniature cross braces, ensuring a protein like insulin folds into the exact configuration needed to regulate your blood sugar. That sulfur is not a mere chemical ingredient, it is a stellar refugee. The sulfur atoms forming these crucial bonds, and those embedded within the essential amino acids cysteine and methionine, were forged in the same cosmic furnaces that created phosphorus and calcium. Deep within a massive star's layered interior, in the final stages before its demise, the process of silicon burning occurs. Here, silicon nuclei fuse, climbing the periodic table step by step to create new, heavier elements, with sulfur being a direct and abundant product. An astrochemist studying the composition of distant molecular clouds would point to the clear spectroscopic fingerprints of sulfur compounds like carbon monosulfide and sulfur dioxide, molecules detected within the expanding shells of supernova remnants. This is the observational proof that these stellar explosions are the primary galactic distributors of this biologically vital element. Without the sulfur forged in those stars and scattered by their violent deaths, the very proteins that build your tissues, catalyze your metabolism, and defend your body would lack their structural integrity. So ask yourself this: does the very stability of your body, the precise function of every enzyme and hormone, rely on the cataclysm of a star? This sulfur, so critical for biological structure, is inert without a spark of energy to bring it to life, a role fulfilled by another stellar element that powers the very reactions inside your cells. The subtle ache in a muscle after a good workout is a testament to countless microscopic engines firing on command. Each one of those cellular engines, an enzyme, often relies on a silent partner to function, an atom of magnesium. This element acts as a crucial cofactor, a molecular key that unlocks the activity of over 300 different enzymes in your body. From the replication of your DNA to the basic rhythm of your metabolism, none of it would proceed smoothly without magnesium. As cellular biologist Dr. Evelyn Reed notes, magnesium's unique chemistry is indispensable. It stabilizes the very architecture of ATP and nucleic acids, allowing the energy and information of life to flow. This vital element, so central to our biology, is a gift from the most massive stars. Deep within their fiery cores, after a star has fused its carbon, a new phase begins called neon burning. Under immense pressure and heat, neon atoms themselves become fuel, fusing together to create newer, heavier elements. A primary product of this specific stellar process is magnesium. When the star eventually explodes as a supernova, it scatters this newly forged magnesium into the cosmos, seeding future generations of stars and planets with this biological catalyst. The efficiency of your body's metabolic machinery, the very conversion of food into usable energy, is therefore dependent on an atomic level on processes that occurred inside a long-dead star. This connection extends beyond our own bodies. Look at the green world around you. Chlorophyll, the molecule that allows plants to capture sunlight and power nearly all life on Earth, has a single magnesium ion at its very heart. The solar energy harnessed by a leaf today is channeled through an atom created in a stellar inferno billions of years ago. So the next time you feel a surge of vitality, ask yourself, Is this energy purely your own, or are you feeling the enduring catalytic power of ancient stardust? This same stellar lineage provides the very sparks that let you feel that vitality, the sodium and potassium ions that generate every thought and sensation. Every thought you have ever had is an electrical event powered by stellar chemistry. The cascade of a nerve impulse and action potential is a wave of charged atoms rushing across a cellular membrane. This entire process depends on a remarkable molecular machine called the sodium-potassium pump, which tirelessly exchanges sodium ions for potassium ions, creating the delicate voltage difference that makes your nervous system possible. Both of these elements, sodium and potassium, are direct gifts from exploding stars. Neurobiologists describe this pump as maintaining the resting membrane potential, an electrochemical gradient that is the fundamental battery of your entire nervous system. Without it, no signal could travel from your brain to your finger, no memory could form, no sensation could be registered. The origin of these crucial ions is written in stellar fire. Deep inside a massive star, the phase known as oxygen burning creates a spectrum of elements, including significant amounts of potassium. In an earlier stellar phase, neon burning acts as a primary production line for sodium. When that star reaches the end of its life and erupts in a supernova, it scatters these newly forged alkali metals into the cosmos. The very ability to feel the warmth of the sun, to solve a complex problem, or to experience joy relies on a precise ionic dance of atoms created in a cataclysm that occurred long before Earth was born. So is the spark of consciousness in its most fundamental physical form, a manifestation of ancient stardust. This delicate electrical balance within our cells is meticulously maintained by another stellar element working in concert, the chlorine that regulates our internal fluids. The salt you taste in your sweat on a hot day is a direct link to the cosmos. That simple chloride ion working in concert with sodium is fundamental to maintaining the delicate balance of fluids within and around every one of your cells. This process, known as osmorgulation, is what keeps your tissues from shriveling up or swelling like a sponge, and it cannot happen without chlorine. A physiologist would explain that chloride is the most abundant negative ion in your body, a crucial partner to sodium in managing blood volume and pressure. It is even the key ingredient in the hydrochloric acid that churns in your stomach, allowing you to digest the food that fuels your existence. But where did this essential element originate? Its journey began in the heart of a dying star, during the silicon burning phase of a massive star's final moments, or within the unique furnace of a Type Ia supernova. Chlorine is forged alongside its neighbors Sulfur and Phosphorus. These cosmic explosions are the primary sources that enrich the universe with this specific halogen. The salinity of your blood and tears is not merely a terrestrial trait, it is a cosmic recipe. Your body mirrors the ancient seas from which life first emerged, seas that became salty because rivers weathered continental rocks, leaching out sodium and chlorine that were themselves delivered to a young Earth by asteroids and comets, carriers of ancient stardust. So the next time you feel the fundamental, life-sustaining balance within your own body, ask yourself a question. Is this internal equilibrium a quiet echo of a far greater cosmic imbalance, a violent stellar death that gave us the very atoms of stability? This delicate internal ocean, maintained by stellar chlorine, relies on a host of even rarer trace elements to function, each with its own spectacular origin story. The healing of a simple paper cut is a symphony of cellular activity, directed by enzymes that depend on atoms forged in stellar cataclysms. Deep within the wound, enzymes containing copper and zinc atoms at their very core accelerate the chemical reactions that rebuild tissue. These are trace elements required by your body in only minute amounts, yet their absence can cause profound illness. Their presence is a non-negotiable requirement for health, and every single atom of copper and zinc in your body was created in the fury of a supernova or the violent merger of neutron stars. Elements heavier than iron, like these, cannot be formed in the steady burning of ordinary stars. They are born in the rapid neutron capture process, or R process, an event of almost unimaginable intensity where atomic nuclei are bombarded by a dense sea of neutrons in a matter of seconds, building them into heavier, stable forms. This process seeds the universe with these rare but vital metals. A biochemist would point to zinc fingers, elegant protein structures that act like molecular hands, grasping and reading the DNA double helix to control which genes are turned on or off. These fingers only fold into their precise, functional shape when a zinc atom, a stellar artifact, is locked in place. Your body's most fundamental defense systems are also built on this cosmic foundation. Consider the enzyme superoxide dismutase, a crucial antioxidant that mops up dangerous free radicals within your cells. Its powerful protective function is entirely dependent on copper and zinc ions at its active site, metals that were once part of a dying star's final moments. So is your body's remarkable ability to heal a wound, to repair damaged DNA, and to defend itself from internal decay a direct gift from the stars. This protective stellar legacy extends even further to the very pigments that color your skin and hair, a shield against the sun's radiation. The genetic instructions that define you are inscribed in a language of stellar ash. Think of your DNA as the most intricate text ever written, a multi-volume blueprint for building and operating a human being. The ink used to write this cosmic manuscript is composed of just 5 primary elements: carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, and phosphorus. Each of these atoms, with the sole exception of hydrogen, was forged in the nuclear heart of a star that lived and died long before our sun was born. A geneticist might gaze upon the twisting double helix and marvel at how the entire history of the cosmos is embedded within its structure, a library of cosmic events translated into biological function. Let us break down this miraculous manuscript. Every single nucleotide, the individual letter in your genetic code, is a composite of 3 parts. The sugar that forms one side of the ladder's backbone is built from carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. The phosphate group that links the sugars together is a combination of phosphorus and oxygen, and the nitrogenous bases, the A, C, T, and G that spell out your unique traits, are intricate structures of carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, and oxygen. Every component, from the spine to the rungs, is constructed from atoms with a stellar origin. When scientists sequence a genome, they are not just decoding biological information. They are, in a very literal sense, reading a message written in stardust. Consider the profound connection of identical twins. They share not only an identical genetic sequence, but the same specific set of atoms, each carbon and nitrogen atom in their DNA tracing back to the same ancient supernova events that seeded the cloud of gas and dust from which our solar system formed. So when you look at a family portrait, ask yourself a quiet question. Does your true family tree extend beyond your ancestors, branching out to encompass the very stars in the sky? This cosmic composition of our genome rests upon a foundation of the one element that predates all the others, the primordial hydrogen that witnessed the dawn of time itself. Your body is a living museum of cosmic history, but its oldest artifacts are the hydrogen atoms woven through every cell. While the iron in your blood and the carbon in your DNA were forged in stellar furnaces, most of the hydrogen in your body is primordial, a relic that dates back to the very birth of the universe. This simplest of elements, a single proton orbited by a single electron, forms the water that comprises most of your physical self and serves as a fundamental building block for every organic molecule you are made of. A cosmologist would take us back to the first 3 minutes after the Big Bang, to an era of primordial nucleosynthesis. In that unimaginably hot, dense beginning, the entire cosmos was a nuclear forge, fusing the first protons and neutrons into the nuclei of the lightest elements. In just those few minutes, virtually all the hydrogen and helium in the universe was created. The hydrogen in the water you drank today, in the sugars that fuel your brain, has existed for nearly 14 billion years. This means your body is a unique amalgam, a perfect blend of the universe's first matter and the later generation stardust manufactured in supernova. Consider a single molecule of water, H2O. It contains 2 hydrogen atoms, each a silent witness to the dawn of space-time, linked to an oxygen atom that was forged in the death throes of a massive star. You are literally built from both the beginning and the middle of the cosmic story. Does this dual origin make you a living bridge, a conscious connection between the universe's fiery birth and its present complex state? This profound link to the first moments of everything is shared by another lightweight element, the helium that also echoes from the dawn of time. That high-pitched comical voice after inhaling helium from a balloon is a direct conversation with the dawn of time. The helium atoms briefly filling your lungs are not just a simple gas, they are primordial fossils, relics forged in the first few minutes of the entire universe. While a small amount of helium is produced by stars like our Sun as they fuse hydrogen, nearly all the helium in the cosmos dates back to the Big Bang itself. A physicist specializing in early universe cosmology would point to the cosmic microwave background, the faint afterglow of the Big Bang, as definitive proof. The precise temperature fluctuations in this ancient light confirm the predicted abundances of the light elements created in those first moments, with helium being a primary product. During an event known as Big Bang nucleosynthesis, the universe was a seething, dense soup of fundamental particles. As it expanded and cooled, protons and neutrons began to combine, first forming deuterium, then tritium, and finally stabilizing into the nucleus of helium-4. This process lasted for only about 3 minutes before the universe cooled too much for fusion to continue, freezing in the cosmic recipe. Helium is not a building block of your DNA or your tissues in the way carbon or nitrogen is, but its presence in every breath you take is a tangible, physical connection to the absolute beginning. Our Sun is currently fusing hydrogen into helium in its core, but that newly created helium is trapped, sequestered for billions of years until the star's final stages. The helium we can access, the gas in that party balloon, is almost entirely the original, ancient stock. So the next time you hear that silly, squeaky voice, pause for a moment. Does that fleeting sound contain an echo of the universe's first breath? This ancient whisper of helium is joined by another light element from that primordial dawn, the lithium that also carries the signature of creation. The same primordial fire that forged hydrogen and helium also left behind a tiny, puzzling trace of lithium. This lightweight metal exists in your body in vanishingly small amounts, yet it plays a subtle role in stabilizing mood and supporting neurological health. Its presence is a cosmic clue, a piece of a puzzle that has challenged astronomers for decades. While most of the lithium in the universe was indeed created during Big Bang nucleosynthesis, the amounts we observe are far lower than our models of the infant universe predict. This discrepancy is known among cosmologists as the cosmological lithium problem, a quiet mystery at the heart of our origins. An astronomer might describe staring at spectroscopic data from ancient stars, finding their lithium abundances stubbornly lower than they should be, hinting at physical processes in the early cosmos we do not yet fully understand. The lithium found on Earth, and thus woven into the fabric of your own body, likely comes from a dual origin. A small fraction is the original, primordial lithium from the Big Bang itself, while the rest was forged later by a process called cosmic ray spallation. As high-energy protons, the nuclei of hydrogen atoms, travel at near light speed across the galaxy, they can smash into heavier atoms like carbon or oxygen in interstellar space. These violent collisions shatter the larger nuclei, fragmenting them into lighter elements, including lithium. This means the lithium in the battery powering your device, and the trace amounts influencing your nervous system, is partially a product of celestial violence, atom smashers operating on a galactic scale. So the next time you feel a sense of calm or emotional balance, could you be sensing the faint, stabilizing influence of an atom that journeyed across the galaxy, born from a collision between a cosmic ray and a speck of stardust? The mystery of how lithium arrived here is just one chapter in the epic voyage of these elements, a journey that required a cosmic delivery system to bring them to our newborn world. A streak of light flashes across the night sky, a meteor burning up as it delivers its ancient cargo to Earth. These celestial messengers are not just a spectacle, they are the final couriers in a cosmic supply chain that brought the ingredients of life to our planet. The heavy elements forged in distant supernova could not simply drift to a newborn Earth, they had to hitch a ride. This delivery happened through the relentless accretion of planetesimals, the asteroids and comets that bombarded our young world, seeding it with the very stardust that would one day form our DNA. As one planetary scientist noted, we are not just living on a planet, we are living inside a cosmic construction site that never truly closed. The proof is in the rocks that fall from the sky. Isotopic analysis of meteorites reveals grains of material significantly older than our solar system itself, literal presolar stardust trapped inside these space rocks. This confirms the grand narrative of solar nebula theory. Our entire solar system began as a vast, rotating cloud of interstellar gas and dust, a cloud itself enriched by the ashes of countless earlier supernovae. Under its own gravity, this cloud collapsed, its center igniting into our sun while the surrounding material flattened into a protoplanetary disk. Within this disk, dust grains collided and stuck together, slowly building first pebbles, then planetesimals, and finally the planets we know today. Every meteor shower is a continuation of that ancient process, a gentle rain that still adds to Earth's inventory of stellar material. Some of this cosmic dust finds its way into the biosphere. The famous Murchison meteorite that fell in Australia in 1969 was found to be rich in amino acids, the fundamental building blocks of proteins. This was a stunning revelation. It proved that the basic chemistry for life is not exclusively a terrestrial invention, but has a profound cosmic component. The raw materials for biology are universal, so the next time you look up at a shooting star, consider a humbling thought. You are made from material that once traveled for millions of years as silent, frozen dust in the deep void of space. This constant delivery of stardust carries with it a unique identifier, a chemical fingerprint written into the atoms themselves that allows us to trace them back to their specific stellar origins. A forensic scientist can identify a person from a single strand of hair by reading its unique genetic code. In the same way, a nuclear astrophysicist can analyze the atoms in your body and trace them back to the specific types of stars that forged them. This cosmic fingerprint is not written in the elements themselves, but in the precise ratios of their isotopes. Every element comes in different versions, called isotopes, which have the same number of protons but a different number of neutrons in their nucleus. Carbon-12 is stable and common, while carbon-13 is slightly heavier. The exact proportion of one to the other acts as a stellar signature. As one nuclear astrophysicist explains, the ratio of magnesium-26 to magnesium-24 found in meteorites and in our own bodies is a direct tracer. That specific ratio is a hallmark of material synthesized in a core collapse supernova, the explosive death of a massive star. These isotopic ratios are set in stone, or rather in stardust, during the nucleosynthesis process itself. The extreme conditions of temperature, pressure, and neutron flux inside a dying star create a unique blend of isotopes for each element it produces. This nuclear recipe is then frozen in time when the star explodes, and it is largely preserved as the material travels through space, condenses into new solar systems, and is ultimately incorporated into planets and life. Your body is not composed of generic, anonymous stardust. You are built from atoms that carry a specific nuclear history, a hidden passport stamp from their place of origin. Our entire solar system inherited its isotopic makeup from the particular cloud of gas and dust that collapsed to form it 4.6 billion years ago. The Sun's composition is our local sample of galactic material from that era, and we are made from that same stuff. So if we could somehow read the isotopic code woven through the cells in your hand, what forgotten stellar cataclysms would it recount? This forensic evidence within us points overwhelmingly to the dominant role of giant stars, but it also hints at an even more exotic and violent contributor to our atomic ancestry. The ghostly, glowing shell of the Jewel Box Nebula is not just a celestial tombstone, it is a stellar nursery for the chemistry of life. This breathtaking structure, a planetary nebula, represents the final, gentle sigh of a star like our own Sun. While supernovae grab all the attention for their violent drama, these more common stellar deaths provide an equally vital contribution to your genetic code. As one stellar astronomer describes it, aging stars undergo remarkable dredge-up processes. Deep within an asymptotic giant branch star, convection currents act like a massive celestial elevator, carrying newly forged atoms from the nuclear furnace at the core up to the star's surface. This is how carbon, nitrogen, and a suite of heavier elements are brought into the light before being gently pushed away into space. The star does not explode, it simply sheds its outer layers over thousands of years, creating the beautiful nebula we see and enriching the cosmic environment with its nuclear ash. The carbon that forms the backbone of your DNA and the nitrogen in the rungs of its ladder likely received a significant portion of their cosmic supply from this very type of quiet, persistent stellar exploration. This process also creates what are known as S-process elements, where slow neutron capture builds atoms like strontium and barium, elements that play subtle but essential roles in biological systems. When you gaze at the intricate, delicate patterns of a planetary nebula, are you seeing a reflection of the complex beauty it helps encode within you? This gentle stellar wind underscores a profound truth, that the universe builds life not only through cataclysm, but also through patience and persistence, a diversity of cosmic sources contributing to our singular existence. The faint tremors in spacetime itself confirmed a new kind of cosmic factory. In 2017, gravitational wave observatories detected the ripples from two impossibly dense neutron stars spiraling into each other, a collision that shook the universe. The resulting kilonova explosion was a forge of almost unimaginable power, and it solved a long-standing mystery. A gravitational wave astronomer would describe the event's afterglow as a cosmic fingerprint, its light revealing the signature of newly minted heavy elements. This is the home of the rapid neutron capture process, or R process, where atomic nuclei are bombarded by a dense flood of neutrons in mere seconds, building them into the heaviest elements on the periodic table. About half of all elements heavier than iron are created in these violent stellar mergers, including gold, platinum, and the uranium that powers nuclear reactors. These events are not just theoretical, they are the primary cosmic source for the most precious and dense metals we know. This means the gold in a wedding band was likely born in a cataclysm more powerful than a typical supernova. But this cosmic heritage is not confined to jewelry. Trace amounts of these R-process elements are woven into your own biology. Iodine, an element absolutely essential for your thyroid gland to regulate metabolism and brain development, can have an R-process origin. The very element that keeps your body's energy in balance may have been forged in the same fleeting, brilliant flash as a treasure. So ask yourself this: does the steady rhythm of your metabolism and the enduring symbol of a gold ring share a common, violent birth in the depths of space? This revelation dramatically expands our cosmic lineage, connecting the most intimate functions of our bodies to the most extreme events in the universe. High-energy particles from dying stars constantly streak through the galaxy, a silent rain of atomic shrapnel known as cosmic rays. These are not rays of light, but mostly the nuclei of hydrogen atoms, protons traveling at nearly the speed of light. When one of these high-velocity projectiles slams into a heavier atom, like a fragment of oxygen or carbon drifting in interstellar space, the result is a spectacular fragmentation. The larger nucleus shatters into pieces, a process physicists call spallation. From this violent collision, new, lighter elements are born, primarily lithium, beryllium, and boron. A cosmic ray physicist might describe the immense challenge of tracing these particles, noting they are so energetic their paths are bent by galactic magnetic fields, obscuring their original sources. This process is a primary creator of these specific light elements, which are curiously scarce. They were not made in significant amounts during the Big Bang, and stars cannot produce them efficiently through normal fusion. Their primary source is this relentless, high-energy shattering occurring throughout the galactic disk. The trace amounts of boron found in your body, an element that may support bone strength and wound healing, almost certainly originate from this unique and violent process. The boron used to make heat-resistant borosilicate glassware, or found in some dietary supplements, carries the nuclear signature of a deep space collision. So the next time you feel the solid strength of your own skeleton, ask yourself a strange question. Are you supported in part by the scattered debris of an atomic collision that occurred in the profound emptiness between the stars? This origin story, written in high-speed impacts, adds a crucial and chaotic layer to the cosmic recipe that makes you who you are. The Milky Way stirs its own ingredients into a universal recipe. Our galaxy is not a collection of isolated chemical kitchens, but a single, well-mixed soup. Over billions of years, the relentless churning of galactic rotation, the push of stellar winds, and the violent blasts from supernova have combined to homogenize the elemental abundances across vast distances. A galactic archaeologist, someone who reads the chemical history of stars, would confirm a stunning fact. The precise ratios of carbon to oxygen, of nitrogen to iron, that we measure in our own sun and in the meteorites that fall to Earth are not special or unique. Spectroscopic studies of countless other stars throughout our galactic neighborhood reveal the same pattern, the same absorption lines for the same familiar elements. This means the specific blend of stardust that built our solar system, and by extension your body, is a standard sample of the galaxy's chemical makeup. You are not made from rare or exotic atoms. Your elemental composition is the galactic norm. This profound uniformity suggests a powerful possibility. Anywhere in the Milky Way where a new star and planets form, they will likely start with the same foundational chemistry we had, the same carbon backbone for complex molecules, the same oxygen for water, the same nitrogen for genetic coding could be available. Does this mean that life elsewhere, if it exists, might be constructed from the exact same stellar blueprint? The potential for biology could be written into the very fabric of our galaxy, a standard issue of cosmic parts. This universal mixture, however, still required a specific location to come together, a particular neighborhood within the galaxy where our own solar system could take root. The very formation of our solar system may have required a violent push from a dying neighbor. A leading theory suggests that a shock wave from a nearby supernova propagating through the interstellar medium was the precise trigger that caused our local molecular cloud to compress and collapse under its own gravity. This is the supernova trigger hypothesis, a compelling model that paints our origin story as one of cause and effect on a cosmic scale. The evidence for this is locked inside the oldest rocks we can find, not on Earth but in meteorites. Cosmochemists performing isotopic analysis on calcium aluminum, rich inclusions or Chi, have found a crucial clue. These tiny, crystalline grains are the first solids to have condensed in our solar nebula, and they contain the decay products of short-lived radioactive isotopes. As one cosmochemist explains, finding the daughter isotopes of aluminum-26 in these ancient inclusions is like finding a freshly fallen apple in an orchard. It tells you the tree that produced it was very nearby and very recent. The presence of these specific isotopes, which have very short half-lives, strongly indicates that a supernova explosion occurred extremely close to our nascent solar nebula, injecting it with freshly synthesized elements just before or during its collapse. This nearby cataclysm did more than just provide a gravitational nudge. It directly seeded the cloud with a fresh supply of critical radioactive elements and newly forged stardust, enriching the raw material from which the Sun and all the planets would form. The very trigger for the formation of our Sun and planets was a stellar death, making our entire world a direct consequence of that specific, ancient explosion. So we are left with a profound question. Do we owe our very existence, our Sun, our Earth, and the ground beneath our feet, to the death of a specific, long-vanished star? This formative event, which set our entire cosmic neighborhood in motion, established a pattern that continues to this day, a gentle but constant rain of dust that still adds to our world. The planet is constantly gathering mass from the sky in near silence. Each day, Earth sweeps up tens of thousands of tons of extraterrestrial material, a gentle, invisible rain of microscopic dust particles shed by passing comets and disintegrating asteroids. These are not the dramatic fireballs of meteor showers, but a fine, cosmic powder that drifts down from the stratosphere, settling on every surface, including you. Scientists actively collect this dust using high-altitude aircraft and from the pristine snows of Antarctica, where it lies preserved like a time capsule. Under powerful electron microscopes, researchers like Dr. Andrew Westphal at the University of California, Berkeley, have identified the true treasures within this dust. They are presolar grains, tiny mineral crystals that condensed in the atmospheres of other stars long before our own sun ignited. These grains are not just old, they are older than the Earth itself, and their exotic isotopic compositions are a direct fingerprint of their specific stellar origins. This means the stardust falling on us is not generic. It is a diverse collection of artifacts from different types of stars that lived and died in our galactic neighborhood. You are not a closed system. With every breath you take, you inhale these minute particles. With every meal, you ingest atoms that were, until recently, drifting in the void. Your body is continually, subtly, incorporating new stardust into its structure, from the calcium in your bones to the carbon in your cells. The cosmic construction of your body did not end at birth. It is a process that continues throughout your life. So as you sit here now, ask yourself this quiet question. Are you, in a small but very real way, still being built from the cosmos with every single passing day? A faint, natural radioactivity pulses within you right now. Your body contains a tiny amount of a radioactive isotope called Potassium-40, and as its atoms decay, they contribute to your personal, internal background radiation dose. This is not a danger, but a normal part of being a living, biological entity built from ancient cosmic materials. These radioactive elements are nuclear clocks, ticking down from the moment they were forged. A health physicist might note that every person emits a measurable, if minute, level of radiation from within, a signature of the Potassium-40 and carbon-14 cycling through their tissues. This inherent radioactivity is a direct inheritance from stellar cataclysms. Elements like Potassium-40 were created in the furious neutron flux of supernova or neutron star mergers, and their very instability is a relic of those extreme, violent conditions. They were born unstable, and they have been decaying ever since. The potassium in a banana, often cited for its radioactivity, is the very same potassium that helps conduct nerve signals in your body. Each atom of Potassium-40 has a specific destiny, with a small fraction decaying into Argon-40. This exact process is a cornerstone of geological dating, used to determine the age of rocks billions of years old. The same nuclear clock that tells the age of a mountain is ticking quietly inside you. Even the carbon-14 used by archaeologists to date ancient artifacts shares a related story. It is continuously created when cosmic rays strike nitrogen atoms in our atmosphere, but its stable cousin, carbon-12, the bulk of the carbon in your DNA, was forged solely in the hearts of stars. So when you feel the simple warmth of your own body, is that heat merely metabolic, or does it contain the faintest whisper of stellar energy, a nuclear echo from the violent events that assembled your atoms? This internal radioactivity underscores a profound continuity, the fact that the atoms you call your own have been part of countless other living things before you, a cycle of cosmic recycling that stretches back to the dawn of life on Earth. The very atoms you call your own are merely on loan from the planet. Your body is a temporary collection of ancient materials that have cycled through the biosphere for billions of years, a fleeting assembly of elements that once belonged to dinosaurs, ancient forests, and countless other human beings. This constant planetary scale recycling is driven by the biogeochemical cycles that move carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, and water between the air, the oceans, the rocks, and every living thing. An ecologist would describe the biosphere as a single, interconnected metabolic system, where the exhaled breath of one organism becomes the building block for another, in an endless dance of elemental exchange. The carbon dioxide you release right now will be captured by a plant. The water you drink has evaporated from ancient seas, and the nitrogen in your DNA was once part of a protein in a long-vanished creature. This means your DNA contains a double inheritance. It is built from stardust forged in supernova, and it is also assembled from atoms that once formed the genetic code of other life forms. Consider a single carbon atom currently in a strand of your hair. That same atom may have once been part of a lush fern leaf in a Jurassic forest, consumed by a towering sauropod, released back into the soil upon its death, absorbed by the roots of a flowering plant, and eventually harvested as grain to nourish an ancestor, all before finding its way to you. You are not just made from stardust, you are made from the dust of all life that came before you. Does this knowledge transform your sense of self, from a permanent entity to a temporary, conscious custodian of these ancient cosmic materials. The cycle of life and death on our planet is a beautiful, smaller echo of the stellar cycle of birth and explosion that first sent these atoms on their journey. That cool, clear glass of water is a time capsule from the stars. Every sip hydrates your body with molecules whose components have separate, epic histories. The oxygen atom in each H2O molecule was forged in the heart of a massive star, while its two hydrogen partners are primordial relics from the Big Bang. Earth's vast oceans, the cradle of all known life, are a blend of these two cosmic origins. Geochemists studying the genesis of our planet point to a compelling theory that Earth was initially too hot and violent to retain its own water, so our oceans had to be delivered later. This delivery came from a relentless bombardment of comets and asteroids that formed in the cold outer solar system, bodies rich in icy material that itself contained stellar oxygen. The proof of this extraterrestrial delivery is written in the water itself, in the precise ratio of deuterium to hydrogen. Deuterium is a heavier form of hydrogen, and its specific proportion acts as a chemical fingerprint. By comparing the deuterium to hydrogen ratio in Earth's oceans to that measured in comets and asteroids, scientists can trace the primary source of our water. Recent space missions have provided stunning confirmation. The Hayabusa 2 mission to the asteroid Ryugu successfully returned samples to Earth, and analysis revealed the presence of water-bearing minerals. This was direct physical evidence that asteroids, laden with water inherited from the primordial solar nebula, indeed seeded our young world. Every time you drink a glass of water, you are incorporating this stellar and primordial material into the majority of your body's mass. The water that comprises over half of who you are has literally traveled across the solar system. Does the simple, life-giving act of hydration feel different now, knowing you are swallowing a piece of cosmic history? This ubiquitous water, the very solvent of life, is inseparable from the other vital element that fills your lungs with every breath. The air swirling around you is a living archive of stellar activity. Our atmosphere, that thin, protective blanket shielding us from the void, is composed almost entirely of nitrogen and oxygen, two elements whose journey began in the hearts of stars. The very oxygen molecules that keep you alive were assembled by photosynthetic organisms, but the individual oxygen atoms within them are much older. Each one was forged in the core of a massive star and scattered by its supernova death long before Earth existed. The dominant nitrogen in our air shares this stellar pedigree, a legacy of nucleosynthesis delivered to our young planet. An atmospheric scientist studying the Great Oxidation Event would explain that over 2 billion years ago, cyanobacteria began their world-changing work. These tiny organisms used stellar carbon and stellar nitrogen to build themselves, and as a byproduct of their metabolism, they released free oxygen into the environment, slowly transforming the entire chemistry of the planet. The atmosphere is not a static shell. It is a dynamic reservoir where these cosmic elements are constantly cycled between the air, the oceans, and life itself. With every single breath you take, you are drawing atoms into your body that were once part of the vast interstellar medium before our own sun was born. Consider the simple, inert gas argon. It is the third most common gas in the air around you, and almost all of it is a specific isotope, argon-40. This argon is not primordial. It is the direct decay product of potassium-40 in the Earth's crust. That radioactive potassium was itself created in a supernova, and its slow, steady decay over billions of years has filled our skies with this noble gas. So the next time you fill your lungs, ask yourself a quiet question. is the air that gives you life, a collective testament to the life and death of countless stars. This gaseous connection, this breath of ancient supernova, is the same force that fuels the growth of every plant that becomes our food. The vibrant red of a ripe tomato at a farmer's market is a testament to a cosmic supply chain. Every fruit, vegetable, and grain you see is built from three simple ingredients: soil, water, and air, yet each of these is a repository of ancient stardust. The process of photosynthesis is the alchemy that transforms these cosmic ingredients into life. As botanist Dr. Robin Wall Kimmerer has beautifully observed, photosynthesis is a conversation between sunlight and the leaf, a daily miracle that spins gold from air. The plant absorbs carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, a molecule containing stellar carbon and oxygen. It draws water from the soil, its oxygen atoms forged in supernova. From the Earth, it takes up dissolved nutrients like nitrogen for its proteins, phosphorus for its energy molecules, and potassium for its cellular functions, all elements delivered to our planet by asteroids and comets. Sunlight provides the energy to fuse these stellar atoms into glucose, the sugar that forms the foundation of the plant's very structure. This makes every plant a living collection of organized stardust. This cosmic material then travels up the food chain. A cow grazes on grass, incorporating the stellar iron from the plant's chlorophyll into its own hemoglobin. When you eat a steak, you are consuming that iron, along with the stellar carbon, nitrogen, and phosphorus that once built the muscle of the animal. You are taking stardust from other organisms and using it to fuel your own cells, repair your tissues, and replicate your DNA. Think back to your last meal. Was it a salad, a piece of bread, a serving of fish? Each ingredient was a gathering of elements from across the galaxy, a direct transfer of cosmic heritage into your biomass. This constant assimilation of external stardust means your body's atomic composition is uniquely your own, a specific and temporary constellation of atoms that were once part of the soil, the air, and countless other living things. Your body is a cosmic snowflake, a fleeting pattern of atoms that will never be assembled in precisely the same way again. Like the intricate, six-sided symmetry of an ice crystal, your specific arrangement of carbon, oxygen, and nitrogen is a one-time event in the history of the universe. While every human shares the same set of elemental ingredients, the exact isotopic makeup of your body is yours alone. Each atom carries a unique passport stamped by its journey, having followed a different path through specific stars, particular supernova explosions, and countless cycles within Earth's biosphere before finding its temporary home in you. The philosopher of science Dana Zohar reflects on this, suggesting that the self is not a static thing, but a dynamic pattern of relationships, a verb more than a noun. This pattern is etched into the very structure of your cells and the unique sequence of your DNA, a temporary order imposed on ancient, wandering stardust. Consider the constant, quiet turnover within you. Over roughly 7 years, the vast majority of the atoms in your body are replaced, exchanged with the environment through breathing, eating, and drinking. The calcium in your bones today was not there a year ago. The carbon in your skin is newly arrived from the atmosphere. Yet through this total material refresh, the pattern that is you, your memories, and your personality persists. This reveals a profound distinction between the physical stuff you are made of and the emergent, conscious pattern that it temporarily creates. If you are a singular, never-to-be-repeated assemblage of ancient cosmic material, a brief gathering of stardust that thinks and feels, does that not make you a unique work of cosmic art? This individuality, born from a common origin, highlights the beautiful, transient nature of our existence, a temporary constellation of atoms granted a moment of self-awareness. The body you inhabit today is not the same physical body you had a decade ago. Its atoms are in a state of constant departure and arrival, a quiet flux driven by every breath, every meal, and every beat of your heart. You are a river, not a statue, with the very stuff of your being continuously exchanged with the world around you. A biologist would quantify this beautiful impermanence, noting that over a span of 7 to 10 years, the vast majority of the atoms in your body are replaced. The carbon atoms exhaled as carbon dioxide are swapped for new ones from the air and your food. The iron in your blood is recycled and renewed. The water that defines you flows in and out. This means the you of this moment is physically distinct from the you of the past, yet you remain, unshakably, a collection of stardust. You are always drawing from the same cosmic reservoir, a planetary pool of elements that were forged in ancient stars and delivered to Earth eons ago. Your life is a brief, conscious gathering of this ancient material. It is a single turn in an endless cosmic cycle where stars are born from clouds of gas, forge new elements in their cores, and then die in spectacular explosions, scattering their enriched ashes across the galaxy. This stellar debris eventually coalesces into new solar systems and new planets, where the cycle of chemistry can begin anew, potentially giving rise to life. The calcium that currently gives strength to your bones may one day return to the soil, be absorbed by the roots of a towering tree, and then provide structure for a leaf that falls and decays, its atoms perhaps one day becoming part of another living creature in a future era. This recycling has been ongoing for billions of years and will likely continue for billions more. Does this knowledge of your own atomic impermanence feel like a loss, or does it instead feel liberating? Your transient existence is not an ending but a reaffirmation that you are an integral, thinking part of an eternal cosmic process, connecting your fleeting story directly to the vast, unfolding future of the universe itself. The river of your atoms does not cease its flow at the end of your life. The same elements that gave you form will embark on new journeys, their purpose transformed but their cosmic lineage unbroken. In the quiet of the soil, the carbon from your cells may become humus, nourishing the roots of an ancient oak. The nitrogen from your DNA could be released into the air, eventually captured by legume bacteria to build proteins in a future harvest. The water that once coursed through your veins will evaporate, rise into the clouds, and fall as rain upon a distant continent. This is not an end, but a redistribution, a return of your borrowed stardust to the planetary cycles that sustain all life. On a timescale that dwarfs human history, the ultimate fate of your atoms is written in the life cycle of our Sun. Futurists and cosmologists like Carl Sagan have long reflected on the deep future, projecting forward billions of years. Our Sun, the steady star that made life possible, will inevitably exhaust its hydrogen fuel. It will swell into a red giant, its outer layers expanding to engulf the inner planets. In that final, fiery embrace, the Earth itself will be vaporized. Every mountain, every ocean, and every atom that once was part of you will be scattered back into the interstellar medium, a cloud of gas and dust awaiting a new beginning. This grand recycling is the universe's great constant. The beautiful filamentary crab Nebula is a perfect testament. It is the grave of a star witnessed exploding in 1054. Yet within its expanding glow, the shockwaves are compressing gas and dust, triggering the birth of new stars. It is both a tomb and a cradle. The stardust that currently comprises you, forged in such an explosion long ago, is destined for a similar cycle. After being scattered by our dying sun, these atoms will drift for eons, eventually coalescing under gravity into a new solar nebula. They may become part of a future star's core, a speck in a distant gas giant, or a mineral on a world that orbits a sun not yet born. If the fundamental particles of your being are destined to help build future worlds and perhaps even future life, does that journey grant your existence a form of material immortality? You are a temporary constellation of ancient cosmic matter, granted a fleeting moment of consciousness, yet your components are eternal travelers on an odyssey that spans the lifetime of the galaxy itself. This forward-looking perspective invites a final, unifying synthesis of all 35 ways. Your hands hold the entire history of the universe, from the violent deaths of massive stars to the quiet assembly of your genetic code. Every element within you is a tangible piece of cosmic evidence. This journey transforms our understanding of self, bridging the immense gap between the impersonal cosmos and our most intimate existence. We are not simply living on a planet, we are built from its very fabric, which is itself the scattered ashes of ancient stellar furnaces. Each breath you take, every beat of your heart, is powered by atoms that witnessed the birth and death of suns long vanished. The renowned astronomer Carl Sagan captured this perfectly when he said, "The cosmos is within us." We are made of star stuff. We are a way for the cosmos to know itself. This is the ultimate meaning of our 35 connections to the stars. It is a story written not in books, but in the iron of your blood, the carbon of your genes, and the calcium of your skeleton. Carry this perspective with you. The next time you look at your own hands, see them for what they truly are, a living archive of supernova and stellar winds, a temporary gathering of the universe itself, granted a fleeting moment of consciousness. Let this knowledge fill you with a profound sense of wonder and belonging. Share that feeling with others. Look up at the night sky with new eyes, knowing you are not a stranger looking out, but the universe looking back at itself. If you are ready to continue exploring the grand mysteries of space, subscribe now for more journeys to the stars, for we are all, in the most literal sense, children of the